Hello everybody. In today's video we will be working on a Minolta SRT-101 camera. Now this camera has one specific problem and that's non-functioning self-timer. As you can see now, I can clearly release the camera using a conventional method of winding and releasing, and it's following the correct speeds. But let's say if I'm engaging the winding lever, then I'm engaging the self-timer and releasing the button here. It's supposed to also automatically release the shutter as soon as it reaches the top. And let's see if that happens. As you can see, it clicked like it tried to engage the lever, but nothing happened. And actually I can release the button, shutter button right now, and you can see that it hasn't been engaged, it hasn't activated the shutter. So aside from there's nothing really wrong with the camera, just needing a basic overhaul and adjustment. So in this video we will dive into the specs of the camera, open the front panel, and I do have a replacement self-timer available, so we'll see if that is in fact the problem. I believe it is, and if so, we'll go ahead and replace it. So let's go ahead and start the process. I'm going to start by removing the bottom cover. Remove the self-timer hand so I can quickly inspect. There's a way to get into the basic mechanism verification from the top without really disassembling it, but well, I believe that we'll have to get to that point of full disassembly. But let me just put some solvent here and I'll lift up the leatherette so I can see what is the problem, if it is in fact a problem. All right. Okay. All right. Go ahead and try it here as well. It's a little bit. All right. Now we've got it removed a little bit. Hopefully you can see it from this angle. All right, I'll go ahead and move the leatherette a little bit to the side, and you will see this lever here. That's part of the self-timer mechanism that's supposed to push down on this release pin. That's supposed to basically release the camera. Let me just go ahead and, yeah, it's doing it when it's going from the basic release. It's going all the way down. Now if I wind our self-timer lever here all the way up, I'll just go ahead and remove the self-timer. Oh, supposed to have been winding here. Hold on, let me charge it one more time. I didn't wind the advanced lever. Okay. All right, now it's out. Now let's see what happens. The The winding lever is wound, and I'm gonna release it. Okay, it started moving. It doesn't go all the way down here. It has to go almost to the bottom of the circle, and it doesn't. All right, so we most likely do have an issue with that. So let's go ahead and continue with what we're doing, disassembling the camera. Okay, our top cover is off. Okay, so everything here looks to be in good shape. And we'll revisit this lubrication a little bit later. Now we're gonna remove the front panel. So the lens mount is the first one to go. Let's go ahead and carefully lift it up. Now we've got to be careful here now because we've got this aperture ring that's being attached to the ring, to the string here that I want to be really careful about not to snap. I will gently remove this string and unwind the wheel here. It's sitting nice and loose here, okay, without any tension. So I'll leave it as is. Now 4 screws here holding the mount, front panel mount. Okay, and now on the sides we've got 2 and 3 5 screws to remove. Okay, I think we're ready to remove the front panel. There we go. I will put this back side of the camera away for a second and let's take a look here. So here's our self timer. So for now I don't have time nor desire to investigate what's wrong with it. I will for now just remove it and replace it with a good working one, and then in my spare time I will look into possibly repairing this unit. So here's our module. Go ahead and put it away. I will grab the good one. As a matter of fact, what I will do, they are exactly the same, from the same model. So I might as well just leave everything the same. Let me try putting a front panel and verifying that it works. And if it works, we might as well just leave it there. Alright, but before we do that, what I'd like to do is actually lubricate the shutter here and replace this gasket. It's basically it's a mirror cushion here that attaches itself to this odd mechanism that Minolta SRT or SRT-101, 102, 201, pretty much all the SRTs is using, just to soften the blow here and eliminate the the back blow, so to speak, and the bouncing mirror effect when it goes down. Whether it's effective or not, who knows, because nobody else is really using that technique. But in any case, I'll go ahead and put a little gasket on it, and then we'll lubricate the necessary points on and around the shutter. Alrighty, just go ahead and refill my syringe real quickly. I apologize for a little delay. Okay, let's go ahead and lubricate those points, pretty much bearings and gears related to shutter operation, to smooth out the process, release process and winding process. And then my hope is once we put the new front panel along with a new self-timer, it will resolve our problem. Okay. That should do it. All right, here comes our panel. Now it's going to be a little tricky to put the panel back because we need to mind a lever that controls the mirror flip up operation here. So I don't know if it's going to be visible for you guys to see what I'm doing, but may not be. Okay. Go ahead and keep on pushing this front panel. Okay, let's see. There we go. Everything is back in place. So I'm gonna secure this with a couple of screws on the front panel and then a couple of screws on the lower portion of the panel. Okay, let's see. Okay, looks like our mechanical release works fine. So I'm gonna wind it. Now I'll go ahead and also wind the self-timer all the way up. It should stay in this position until I activate self-timer. So let's see what happens. See if it releases or if it doesn't. Boom, perfect. Excellent. So we'll continue reassembling the camera since we know what's going on. I'm not gonna put the self-timer mechanism on a different panel. It's not worth my time at this point. We'll just continue reassembling the rest of the module. It's a little tricky with this flat screws. Usually I'm used to more of a Phillips style screws. It's easier to control. This flat head screws are a pain in the butt sometimes. Most of the time anyways. All right. And the last screw here. Okay, so now I'm going to glue back the leatherettes. Reinstall the self-timer lever. The other side now. Okay, let's go ahead and clean what we can clean before we place it back on the camera. Oftentimes there's some oily residue around this aperture ring that prevents it from flawlessly moving left to right and keeping that light meter control ring in the viewfinder slow or even stuck. So go ahead and clean it as much as possible before we place it back. Ah, look at this. All this grease from all these years of usage. Okay, now let's see. Now we have to align our guiding spring through the hole here. And now we're gonna wind it a little bit, put it around the washer here, and expose it here. First things first, we'll put the cover on. Put the ring. Let's go ahead and put the washer. And then the lens mount. Okay. And this is our lens release lever. Okay, so now before I put it all back together and clean the viewfinder, I'll go ahead and replace the seals. That way any dust or debris after the cleaning doesn't get into the viewfinder. Otherwise I'll have to disassemble it again to clean any specks that get into it. Comes off pretty easily this time, the old seal. Okay, and what we'll do next is remove the prism and clean it up before we reposition or reinstall rather the top cover. Let's see. Perfect. Everything looks spec-free. So let's go ahead and put this bracket back. Properly reposition the wires, it's very important, otherwise it may get in the way of this wire that controls our metering assembly. You don't want to cause any issues there. Okay, so now I'm gonna quickly lubricate my slow speeds governor here. That's working well, but it does need lubrication. And then I'm gonna lubricate the winding assembly here, where I feel that it could use it due to its age. Okay, I think we're good here. Now let's work on the top cover for a second. Clean off some of the grime here before I put it back. I'll still do some external cleaning after I reassemble it, but some of the stuff underneath, that corrosion and some debris that gets attached to it, it's probably better to clean it now. All right, it's in place. Great. Looks like this one was broken off, and not much we can do with that side. We'll leave it as is. Now the shutter speed dial goes next. There we go. All right, let me go ahead and test my shutter speeds here. I needed slight adjustment here on the second curtain. I'll go ahead and lubricate it from the bottom a little bit. And different points of contact and high level of friction. Okay, let's take a quick look at our bottom plate. And I will check my light meter here before securing it. Everything looks okay. Do some light cleaning here from the top cover. Okay, looks good, works well, and that'll do it for us. Thank you for watching.